You can feel the tension in the air as we move into race day here in Monaco. It's a track that requires the full concentration of the drivers with zero margin for error. It tests their skills to the absolute limits, so no wonder it remains a fan favourite. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then, is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo. And although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Lando Norris, and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Bottas, Verstappen, and Guan Yu Zhou, Ricciardo, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Albon, Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll, Latifi and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, someone of tremendous experience and insight. It's the man himself, Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? A couple of favourites for the win then, but who comes out on top doesn't really matter as long as they give us an entertaining show en route to the checkered flag. And we want to see fair fighting, of course, out there on the track. Let's hope the stewards don't have to get involved too much today.
Welcome to the first episode of what could go well, could go bad. I don't know how many of these I'm going to make, but the Monaco last to question mark challenge, Charles Leclerc at Monaco. I'm recording this before qualifying, so we'll see how he does in real life. But we head on to the formation lap. Starting in last, it says 25% race, 20 laps. We'll see how well we do here. My first video on F1. On F1 22, so we'll see how it happens. Starting at the back alongside Latifi, Stroll, Vettel, last year's cars compared to real life, going on the formation lap here, just trying to get the tyres warmed up in preparation for this race. We'll obviously see what happens as we head on to at the end of the formation lap. The tyres are nice and warm, and we're getting into our grid slot in 20th place, right at the back of the grid, in one of the most difficult tracks to overtake. Let's see how this goes. We need a good start. My goal is probably just top 10 finish would be a good result. We're going to need to go for some outrageous overtakes around the streets of Monaco. 5 lights ahead of us. And it's lights out, and away we go. We've got a decent start. Latifi gets away well as well. Pretty mess start for us. We're going for a move on Nicholas Latifi down the inside. They're so slow up ahead. We're basically through the corner, and as Latifi comes back at us through this winding left and right section, we're going to have to brake late to outbrake Latifi, but he's still sticky on our inside. We're going to aggressively cut him off, and we do make contact with Sebastian Vettel's Aston Martin. They're so much slower ahead of us. We brake late and we get past Vettel. We're going to have to squeeze him out here as we go into the winding. We're basically stopping here through this hairpin. There, basically stopping the car through there as we get past the other Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, and now we head into the first big overtaking opportunity into the chicane, probably the best opportunity for overtaking in the entire track. However, we are pretty far back on Schumacher, so I don't think we're going to be able to get through, and we can't get through, unfortunately, through there. But a decent start to this race, already up 3 positions as we head through the swimming pool section into the final couple of corners now, and we're going for an outrageous look to the left hand side as Lewis Hamilton leads the pack at the front through turn 1, and we come back around for the first time. We are opening the DRS on the slower Haas car of Mick Schumacher. We're going to dive to the outside. He's gone defensively aggressive. He cuts the curb on the inside, but we do manage to get through, and we head back up here on the back of the other house, Magnussen, starting on the hard tyre. Pretty odd strategy choice from him to start on the hards. We're through the winding section. We are a lot quicker than these cars in the back. I mean, they've not got a straight line speed, and we sort of had a half look into the hairpin to see maybe if there was any potential opening through there, but it's looking likely that it's going to have to be into the big chicane. We're going to get a good run here, open the DRS, use a lot of the battery as we head down round the corner through the tunnel, and we are close enough to go to the inside and dive down the inside of Kevin Magnussen. We're aggressive to him, he's aggressive with us, he skips over the curb, but we force him out and move up into 15th place. And on the following lap 3, we're already caught up to Alex Albon in the Williams. These cars, as I say, so much slower, and we need to get through them before a gap starts to form ahead of them to the top 10. And we do late braking, we go a bit deep, Albon's coming back at us into the hairpin, but we aggressively push him away from us, trying to just get up the order as quick as possible. The 2 Alfa Romeos ahead of us now, and then Ricciardo up in front of them. These are the moments that are critical. Into the hairpin came. We've not using the battery because we've already used quite a lot of it, and it doesn't look like we're going to be close enough, but we'll brake late, and we do get quite close to the back of Tsunoda, but we're not going to be able to get through on this occasion. We'll have to wait until lap 4, where we are close enough now to start maybe thinking about a move into the chicane if we can hold this gap, or maybe we can find something early. We're using the battery here down into the chicane, into the hairpin section, and we are past Tsunoda, but it's the other AlphaTauri now that we need to focus on. Pierre Gasly, who's doing quite a good job at Alpine in real life. On last year, of course, in AlphaTauri weren't the quickest, but we do make contact with the wall there. I think we've got away with it, but we did make so that wasn't ideal. But that has sort of lost us time to mean that we can't go for a move into the chicane. On the exit of the chicane, we just give Gasly a bit of a tap to try and push him on, because he is a lot slower than us. But on the outskirts of the top 10 by lap 4, I definitely would have taken that at the start of the race. I mean, I said at the start top 10 was my goal, but we're already up to 13th, and into Sandavort, we're going for it on Gasly. He's left us the room. We're sticking our wheel in, and we're really close now on the run down to turn 1. Open the DRS for the first time. The overtake, and we're going to go to the outside of Pierre Gasly. It's a tight angle, but we force our way through. What an overtake that was through on Pierre Gasly. Apparently we made a collision with him, but we did in the end get through, and we head on to lap 6, where we now closed up to the back of Ricciardo. We're maybe going to look, our pit window opens in lap 7, we might look to pit on lap 6 to get a bit of an undercut on the cars ahead, as Alex Albon is out of the race. We'll see if that brings out a safety car, as we do tell our engineer we're going to box this lap, but we are close to Ricciardo. Alex Albon then doesn't look like he's brought out a safety car or a virtual safety car or anything in this race, which probably would have been pretty ideal for us to close the pack up and on a lap where we were going to make our pit stop. However, the undercut will probably work for this pit stop. Daniel Ricciardo, as we can see, we're already so much quicker than him, so close, and there's a train of about 4 cars here. I think we can definitely jump probably all 4 cars, because they're very close. If they go for another 2 laps and we pit this lap, which we are now going to do in that risky pit lane, I do not like going in there. Let's see what type of turning we get. We get a good turning, 2.6 to 2.9, a 3-second pit stop. We'll see the speed of it now, 2.9, yeah, so a 3-second pit stop. We're going to be down to the back. However, everyone else ahead of us is going to have to pit, so we can close back up on them on the fresh tyres, and we'll see what happens. But they're very cold right now, so we're going to have to warm them up a lot on the outlap, along with trying to get them do not cross over that line so we don't get a penalty. And we're out on the track, and we are going to be putting in qualifying laps now. As you can see, with purple sectors, we are absolutely flying through this lap, and the cars ahead of us are pitting. Perez down the order a bit, I think he's already pit as well, but we're going to come across the line now. We'll see how many positions we gain. Max Verstappen there, and we set the fastest lap of the race. What a lap that was, and we have actually jumped Max Verstappen, who's a bit down the order, but we've managed to jump him and get ourselves up into 12th with more cars up ahead ready to pit. But we're closing up on Lando Norris. I don't know if he's pit yet, but we're closing up on him all the same. chicane, and we're closing up on the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Both these guys getting held up by Schumacher as we go past another couple of cars in Ocon and Magnussen. But both of these two cars getting held up heavily by the Haas of Mick Schumacher, who's yet to pit in this race. He's doing us a solid, and because we are easily closing up, because it's so difficult to overtake around here, especially for the AI, and we are just cruising our way up the order. Fastest lap of the race, 1:13.4 is a brilliant lap, and Lando Norris now is going to be looking over his shoulder rather than looking ahead, as again it's so slow when you're trying to follow other cars. We sort of had a look through the hairpin, and whether it's so tight through there we couldn't really see anything materialise. However, into the chicane it is going to be a good opportunity if we can close up. We're using the battery again, pushing forwards. We've saved up a bit on that outlap to dive down the inside of Lando Norris, and we do make the move stick this time, just closing the door aggressively early on, and we we move up into 9th place. But Sergio Perez, surely we can say now, is there for the taking. Into Sandoval, we head round the outside, but Perez defends well. We stay back, but use the battery, we use the DRS into turn 1. Can we make an overtake? He's going to move aggressively to the inside. We dummy him to the inside, move to the outside, and move through on the Red Bull. A massive overtake there to move up into 8th, and Schumacher yet to pit. We can definitely look at a top 5 finish here, because there's 3 cars ahead of us yet to pit, maybe even more than that. And Schumacher, if we can clear him quickly, we can start to gain on our teammate Carlos Sainz, who's 4 seconds up the road on him. And we thought about going for a move again into the hairpin. You can see how slow Schumacher is, holding us up so much. We're losing so much time behind him, and we've only been here for a sector. Perez only 8 tenths back as well, so we do want to get this done and not lose time to any of the cars behind. We dive down the inside in that move that we've loved so much in this race. We've gone a bit deep, but it's sort of worked in our favour because we've managed to close him out. That chicane down the inside there has been a massive overtaking opportunity for us in this race so far, and we're up into 7th with cars ahead of us still yet to pit, so we can easily be looking at a top 5 finish here. And if we can close up to Sainz, maybe we can just start thinking about maybe moving on to a podium finish as Bottas there. You can see pitting puts us up into 6th, and on the following lap Joe will pit, moving us up another place into 5th. So lap 13, 7 laps to go, 4 cars up ahead to clear to win the race. It's gonna be a tough ask, but Alonso's pitting as well, so only 3 cars now up ahead. So 3 laps, 3 positions gained by people in the pit lane as we go into turn 1, just trying to stay out of the barriers with the more worn tyres now. But as you can see, lap 16, 3 laps later, we have sort of closed up the gap a bit to Carlos Sainz, and we did have a bit of a snapper there of the rear end there, stepping out of line. Lewis Hamilton, of course, crashed there in real life in practice 3 this weekend. We're trying not to do the same as Carlos Sainz and George Russell up ahead. The top 3 then. Imagine if this was the top 3 heading into Sunday. Sainz, Russell and Hamilton, a Mercedes 1-2. This would be ridiculous if this was to happen on Sunday. But for us now, on this Sunday, we are looking to make a move on our teammate Carlos Sainz. It's been last to 4th so far. Can we make it last to 3rd? Carlos Sainz, though, he is in the same machinery as us. We're not going to have a massive advantage with him over the straight, so it's going to have to be braking late and going for a bit of an outrageous move here as we go through the swimming pool section. We're maybe close enough to have a look around the outside into Saint-Navarre. We are going to go for it, but we go a bit deep. Sainz defends well, covering us off, not really giving us much space at all, but down into the main straight, heading into turn 1 as we move over to lap 17. We're closing in with the ERS and the DRS open. We're going to force our way through down the inside, be massively aggressive with our teammate, and we are going to get through up into the podium places. A massive overtake for us as we head into lap 18 now. We're sort of on the back with George Russell, and we do make a bit of contact with the wall there. A little bit of damage on the worn tyres. It's difficult to keep it on the road. We made a little bit of contact, and we're losing time to our teammate because of it, and we've even more importantly lost time to Russell ahead, which is not ideal whatsoever to be losing time to the cars ahead. 2 cars ahead. It's a Mercedes 1-2. We are going to be trying to change that with just 2 laps remaining, though. It's looking very tough indeed as we move now on to lap 20. We'll see what happens if we can maybe try and force our way through on George Russell. I doubt that the win is going to be possible now, but second place definitely is. 7/10 the gap to George Russell here through the winding first sector. With this, we have got through here into Mirabeau a couple of times early on in the race. However, we are far too far back despite a late dive. We are far too far back into the hairpin. It's again incredibly slow through there, following George Russell, but we are now. We're here. This would probably be one of our best chances to get through. Use all of the remaining battery on the last lap. Drain the battery through on George Russell. It's a long way back, but we're going to go for it. We dive to the inside. We cut the corner a bit, so that would be an illegal overtake. So we're going to have to let him back through because we cut the corner. However, we are still quite close to George Russell through the swimming pool section on the last lap of the Grand Prix. We take a lot of curb through there to propel us into Sandevaux. We go for the outside move, but a lot like Sainz, he keeps tight to the barrier and forces us out, and it's going to be a run to the line. Open the DRS. I don't think we're going to be close enough, and it is going to be P3 at Monaco from last on the grid. It's P3. It could have been better than that, but P3, I am very happy with that indeed. From last to P3 in Monaco, a track, as we do get driver of the day, a track which is very difficult to overtake on. P3 is not too shabby.
They've won here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for many years to come.
The Alfa Romeo there, I do not know what has happened there. Sorry to speak over Crofty, but we've got a bit of a glitch there with the Alfa just ramming into Lewis Hamilton's parked Mercedes. But it is a win for Lewis Hamilton.
Speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless.
What a race it was then. Third place, fastest lap, 16 points on the board. Alex Albon, the only retirement around Monaco. But let me know, guys, if you did enjoy this type of F1 content. Last to first at Monaco. We'll see if this is the result on Sunday. That would have to be a mental race. The Red Bulls in 9th and 6th would have to be a mental race. But let me know if you do enjoy this type of content in the comments down below. I enjoyed making it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Monaco Grand Prix in real life on Sunday. Can't wait for that. See you on the next one. Goodbye.